Welcome to The Feminine Mind. My name is Linnea.
They love her when she is submissive, when she is sensual, when she is fine. But they hate her when she expresses what is on the feminine mind.
I know we have a culture, specifically within people of color, that we are to keep secrets about the iniquity and injustices that we face at the hands of others. But I know that my ancestors did not gain their freedoms through keeping quiet and keeping mute. And so I like to break traditions that foster and cultivate iniquity towards all people. And I take passion and not pride, but I'm confident about speaking up about things that don't sit well with me. However, throughout my careers, I have had many people speak ill of me, but they haven't eclipsed those who are speaking well of me. So to be honest, it's only now and then when I have an experience that I decide that I have to nip in the bud, that I will come out and speak about it. And I did that this year when Afua Rose, Killa P, and a range of bad-minded people decided to slander and attack not just me, not just my careers, but my daughter. And since then, I have been focused on many other things. I have another YouTube channel, and my main focus is my musical creativity. However, I do see these videos as part of my human rights. It is my right to speak up about anything that I'm not comfortable with. And I've noticed that as much as people of color will come together to protest that Black Lives Matter when they are being attacked by an other, they are not so confident about making sure that they treat each other with the kindness, with the respect that we all deserve, not just as people of color, but as human beings. I've noticed throughout my careers as a musician, an actor, an author, a teacher, and a healer, that once there's an evolution in a group, once someone takes another path or decides to evolve in a different direction or eclipses their community or their group, there are always those who are like crabs in this barrel of insecurity, in this barrel of mediocrity, who always have an issue with those who are growing. And for that reason, I don't always address most of the things I experience and see. But this channel, The Feminine Mind, has become a great place for me to showcase and to share issues that are on my mind, not for seeking approval or validation from others, but to do justice to my own self. So I started this channel with the Life After Death series, and this is a docu-series that documents my personal experiences, my parents' personal experiences, and my grandparents' personal experiences. It goes from way back when in Jamaica, through the Windrush movement, to the UK, then it goes back to Jamaica, because one of my aims for this channel is to discuss transgenerational issues that we often experience in the here and now, not realizing that these issues are caused by a layer of factors that are from before our time, before we were even born. And I migrated home to Jamaica in 2018, and it was really important that I did that, because leaving Jamaica at 14 years old meant that there was an aspect of my understanding. There were some lessons that I hadn't quite learned, and then I came to England and was catapulted forward into a new society, a new way of doing things. I could never quite understand why amongst people of color there was so much backbiting, so much jealousy, so much unkindness. But when I went back home to Jamaica and I saw how people go to so many lengths to attack those who are evolving, those who are trying a thing, whether it's someone who's opened a shop, like even recently, the owner and founder of Baba Roots, which is a world famous roots drink from Jamaica, he was taken out. And ultimately, this is a normal thing within Jamaican culture, where people who start to flourish, people who even have an idea of trying to do better for themselves, are often attacked by those that they grew up with. It's never a stranger. It's always someone who knows them personally, who is not happy for their success. So this was a bit of what led me to creating this channel. And what my intention has been is to explore these ills so we can get to the other side of the table, where we start to discuss how to deal with these issues. Not to just sit down and talk about problems and issues, because that's not my style. I'm really into problem solving, because that's what our intelligence is for. It's not just there to chat, harass, defame. That's not like the history of my work. My work is really about expression of experiences, expression of feelings, expression of desires, and finding practical tools that can aid an individual or a group of people to being better, to becoming that which they desire, to becoming more in alignment with what feels like their true selves. One of the things that's been a theme throughout the entire expressions of this channel is the danger of toxic femininity, whether it's the toxic mother, the toxic aunt, the toxic grandmother, the toxic friend. It is something that I have showcased in many different colors. Even when I did the Sir P of Politric's Watch video, I put in his criminal classification system. I mentioned the kerosene oil, who is a female criminal, and in most cases is a very toxic female, as she has lost that sense of morality, you know. She's lost that sense of caring about anything other than what can bring money to her, not really thinking about humanity anymore. And that's not really what females were created to do. Females were created and have within them the ability to have empathy, where men might be so focused on the goal at hand, they need a woman to say, hey babes, take care of yourself. Hey babes, don't forget about this or that. Do you get what I'm saying? So when women start to step out of their nature, they can become very dangerous. And what I found is that at the root of this behavior, what we usually have is a high level of insecurity and a low level of self-knowledge. What we usually have is a woman who doesn't quite know herself, and for that reason she is competitive, she is spiteful, she is nasty, she is cruel. I generally don't submit to the wills of others because I have my own will, and as my intention and my work is not about causing devastation, destruction or illness, I really rely on my own sense of self, my own internal moral compass to decide what path I'm taking. So earlier on this year, I think it was in July, I did a 7-hour video, Please Don't Call Me Sis, Toxic Femininity and Crab in a Barrel Syndrome. And from that video, I made several shorter videos that were directly addressing different individuals. On this channel this year, I haven't created that much content. In fact, last year I put out maybe 9 documentaries. This year I did one 7-hour video that I then broke down into bite-sized digestible videos. And since then I did Afua Rose, the trauma pimp. And there's a few reasons for that. One of the main reasons is that I am a musician, I am a mother, and those things have been taken priority for me this year. So as much as I enjoy expressing what's on my feminine mind, it hasn't been as much of a priority. And it is my intention to create some balance with that. And so I'd like to thank everyone, the positivity sharers and the negativity sharers, because these experiences, they occur and they allow me to process, and to work out what is my truth in this situation. How do I feel about it, as opposed to what will other people think about my reactions, when at the end of the day, we are all here to be autonomous, to govern ourselves. When your self-esteem is in the gutter, you will always want to attack, slander, bring other people down, because it makes you feel better about your own sorry situation. Okay? When your vibration is not on the level that it needs to be. When you think positively about yourself and you enjoy your life and you enjoy the many resources that you have access to, and you enjoy cultivating and exploring the gifts, whether it's intellectual gifts or creative gifts or academic gifts or scientific gifts, when you feel good about being a human being, you're not wasting time, okay, going out of your way to bring down people who have only been good to you. Let us stop infecting the minds of our offspring with our own dysfunctionality. Let us take accountability. Let us know how to apologize, not just to our children when we've done them wrong or we've conducted ourselves in a way that's put them at risk. Let us learn how to be humbled by the lessons that life brings. I have been very humbled by the lessons that life has brought to me, good and bad. I have not been right throughout all my journey, nor have I been wrong throughout all my journey. But I've been unafraid to look within to see what's going on. I've been unafraid to express myself to my loved ones about a multitude of things, whether it's internal experiences or external experiences. I am not going to be a part of the crab in a barrel crew. I am not going to be a part of the fake woke black crew that only cares when other races are attacking their race and then treat each other like trash. I am not going to stand behind that. I am not going to be supporting that. I am not going to allow that to be my legacy or the legacy of my descendants. And whenever I'm creating work, I always think about my descendants, not just the ones who are already living, but the ones who are still to come. And I like to leave these videos and any piece of work as life lessons. So if a grandchild, great-grandchild, great-grandniece, do you get what I'm saying, in the future has the ability to access my expression, they can benefit from it and come out of the small-mindedness and see themselves and be a functional part of society. And in closing, I would like to say, if you know that your self-esteem is on the floor, do everything you can to lift it up. A lack of self-esteem makes people behave in ways that are inhumane to themselves and to other people. It means you can't love yourself properly. And if you can't love yourself properly, you cannot love others properly. Whether you go to counseling, whether you say affirmations, start to cultivate your gifts, start to cultivate your skills. It is important as women and men that we work on our self-esteem, the way how we feel about ourselves, the way how we view ourselves, because the way how we feel about ourselves is often projected onto everyone around us. And so, to bring the best contribution to this planet, one has to see themselves as a divine, special being. You don't have to see yourself as being better than other people, but you do you get what I'm saying? You need to see yourself as being worthy of success, worthy of stability, worthy of joy, worthy of nourishment, worthy of forgiveness, worthy of grace, worthy of miracles. In closing, just to talk about this toxic femininity, just one example I want to give why I'm not here with this fake woke shit, right? I worked with a lady from 2009 to 2012, I think it is. This lady was very helpful. She taught me a lot about eating, herbal health, spiritual well-being. But she gave me some key lessons that I'll never release about how to eat for optimum health. She also assisted me in learning great skills and tools when it came to home education, because I've always homeschooled my daughter on and off, because my self-esteem means I do think I have the ability to teach my daughter better than most people can. Okay? So, yeah, that's my self-esteem's like, it's my child, I'm not dunce. I can educate my daughter better than the schooling system can. So this lady taught me a lot of things, and we had a reciprocal relationship. I did a lot of things for her. I did a lot of work for her, a lot of marketing, put her productions on. I gave her a place to stay when she needed it. And she reciprocated by teaching me a lot of things. But she became very high and mighty with her energy, because the truth is her self-esteem wasn't where it needed to be. Okay? And at times she became verbally abusive towards me. And towards the end of our journey, I really saw that. I was like, hold on, you're actually passing your place. Like in Jamaica, we'll say, yeah, pass your place, man. No, so you're gone too far. So we did a production together, and she's from the States. She doesn't understand a lot of things about Caribbean and Jamaican culture, and she would always say certain things that I was like, that's not actually right. You just don't understand, because you're African American, right? So you just don't understand certain things. Anyway, we put a production on, and throughout the production, a few things happened where I realized this woman, she had passed our place, and she was taking it too far. And I just felt like, yeah, my self-esteem must have been low, because I've been tolerating some things that I should have put a boundary up for and just said, oh, hell no. So when she left the country, I emailed her and I said to her, some of the things that you've been doing recently haven't been sitting well with me. And as a mother of a female, you know, of this beautiful divine being that I'm raising, and for myself, I think it's best if we just part ways and we don't continue any more productions, and allow me to grow and to travel in the direction where my soul is calling me to. And I wish you all the best. And I thanked her. It was very graceful. It wasn't rude. I have a full plethora of the most juicy and provocative expletives from Jamaica and other places, but especially from Jamaica. So I've got all the bad word them that someone could want, and they can freely leave my tongue if the situation warrants it. Nothing like that. It was all graceful, and I thanked her for everything she'd done. Thanked her for, you know, the education that I'd received from her, essentially, and wished her well, and just said, look, you're affecting my self-esteem, and my inner being isn't really in resonance with us continuing a relationship. And to show the level of how women can be so toxic when they cannot control or exploit other people, this woman emailed me back and said she knows that I can say what I've got to say, because I am going to be on my deathbed. Did you hear that? I am going to be on my deathbed when I'm going to have to reach out to her. Basically, she was saying, you're going to end up getting sick, and you're going to have to reach out for me for help. And I was like, this is the toxic femininity that I know only too well. I've seen it. The woman is moving like a pimp. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if I can't get what I want from you, it's some abusive stuff. And when I read her email, because I am spiritually very sensitive, And I had communicated with her from a deep heart space, right? So when I read her email, it felt like I was standing on a train track and a train had come and rammed itself right into my side. And I could feel my organs reverberating. I could feel every organ, every cell within myself shuddering and quaking and shaking at the impact of the evil and negative and ugly thing that this woman had said to me. And it taught me about the fake, woke, black, and it made me remove myself from anyone that I felt was just riding on this external persona, but they didn't truly have the morals or the love in their hearts. And this is what I've experienced, and this is what I feel confident and passionate about speaking about, because right now, today, while you're watching this, other women and men are experiencing this kind of ill treatment at the hands of others, and they're considering keeping it to themselves as a way of showing love for their race. They're getting caught up in the externals, and they're struggling with the ability to discern between having a clean heart and having a melanated skin. And having melanated skin does not mean that you automatically have a clean heart. You can look around the planet in various countries that are melanin dominant, and you will see great things happening, good things happening, and you will also see all manners of evil. So let's not get caught up in this mind control that says to be silent and to give consent to others for the abuse of self or others based upon race. Let's not ask not to be judged by our race, by other races, and then treat people in a certain way just because of their race. There is great community that people of not only the same race, but the same tradition and cultures can enjoy. Oftentimes, someone who has a lot of things in common with you can feel like home. But you know, when it comes to homicide and various forms of abuse, it's usually someone you know. So it doesn't matter what race you are from. We all have to have the ability to discern beyond someone's body that they're in. We have to have the ability to see people for who they are and to exercise our birthrights as humans walking this planet, to have zero tolerance for evil and iniquity if we ourselves are not evil. We do have agreeable and disagreeable aspects. My disagreeable aspects have saved my life many times. Me saying no to things that weren't right for me. Women are taught to be people pleasers, to say yes because it makes you seem more feminine or more kind. But the truth is, women are the first protectors and defenders of their children. So the art of saying no is the art of love. It's the art of survival. To be able to say no, we must empower our children, our communities, those who we love and we care for, with the art of saying no. Oftentimes, within my immediate community, people of color are attracted to negativity. I had to break it down and say, listen, me not depend on something there now. That fake stuff, I'm not on it. That let's be quiet because there's an enemy out there that's of another race that's laughing at us. My enemies, most of them, have looked just like me. They've been people that I've been kind to, that I've supported, that I've spoken life into. And they will turn around because I'm evolving or because I've said no. Simply, usually it's because I say no and remove some kind of access. And because they can't use me in the way how they want to use me, or they can't beat me like a beating stick, then they become unkind. So we have to learn to see beyond skin color. If we want other races to do so, I know that not just people of African descent watch this channel, and that is what I want. I want it to be of benefit to humanity, to all mothers, to all fathers, to all women, to all men, to all of those clean-hearted people who are truly seeking to do good and who want good for others as much as they want good for themselves. And on that note, I thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you can take away a gem or two from this video. I know my experiences are not unique to me, and that's why the power of speaking on them is often, it's like people want to deny me a power they didn't even give to me. How can you hate that which you can't create? How can you try to restrict that which you didn't give birth to? Do you understand what I mean? Don't allow people to steer you into the hell that they themselves are dwelling in. May your mind be your heaven, because ultimately your mind and your intelligence and the decisions that you make are the difference between you living one kind of life or another kind of life. So trust in your abilities to think for yourselves, people. Trust in your abilities to see beyond the superficial. Trust in your abilities to experience the range of people and experiences. There's so many good times to be had on this planet. But if you hang out with a bunch of crabs in a barrel, by default you will become a crab too. You're not to be a crab, you're to be an eagle. Soaring through the skies, seeing regions that you haven't seen before, expanding your mind, enriching your life with a plethora of culture and tradition. You're not to be this small, tight, ugly, contorted entity that many are doing wonderful jobs at being. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this form of video. I thought the camera would film the whole way through. It's been cutting off every 12 minutes. So I have to do some kind of research to figure out how to not let that happen, because it may affect my editing process. But I'm really happy that I've come to the end of this process, the end of this sharing. And I do know that it will benefit and impact positively those who it's intended for. And if you're just here to leave a negative comment, I don't have to, one, read it. I don't have to keep it up. I'm not a liar, like some of Afua Rose's minions have said, I'm a liar because I'm deleting their comments. No, it's not that I'm a liar. I'm a free being. I can choose what is in resonance with me and what is not for me. And I do so with the power of a warrior. That's my gangster. My gangster is in the choices that I make, what I choose to respond to and what I don't. And what works for one person may not work for another person. Let's just do what works best for us and not be slaves to the false expectations, the false elusive thinking, the low-level paradigms that others try to project upon us. On that note, my name is Linnea, and you have been watching The Feminine Mind. Deuces!